Peace, this is Brother Hakim, and you have joined us on Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site, subscribe at tribe.gyenamejourney.com.
All my brothers and sisters, hold hands, bow your head. Let us pray. God standeth in the confidence of might, judgeth amongst the gods. Alone we judge ourselves and separate persons of the wicked. I say, in the morning, Father, you just to the wicked enemy, deliver the boy me, deliver out of their hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of court. I have said, you are God. All of you are sons of the Most High. You shall die like man, fall like one of the princes. Rise, O God, judge the earth. Thou shalt hear all nations. Allah Akbar.
This is Kabbalah Franks, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Keep up with the journey. Check out what we have done in the past. Go to journeyarchives.com.
This is Adishik, aka Ace, live Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Be sure to follow Gye-Nyame Journey on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. Check us out. Join your journey.
This is Adishik, aka Ace, live Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio with Monica. Enjoy. Good morning, this is Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
This is Will. Welcome to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I want to give shout out to Civic Header. All my Civic Nation out there. I want to give shout outs to my mom. I give shout out to my dad, raised me and my family to be around me. And I want to give shout outs to the people of my generation that's trying to do so big.
What's up, Miss Yolanda? What's up, baby? How you doing? Segment. Oh man, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. Shouts out to segment. Shouts out to Miss Yolanda. Get my chat out.
Hey, so sad. It's Mansour Hotep, aka Mr. D. Mr. D is the sound good. I think it sounds great. Right now, you listen to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry your name. This is Brother Hatem coming at you live, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Shout out to the Gye-Nyame tribe, Gye-Nyame family. Stand up. Peace.
Shouts out to Brother Kwame. Let's hope we can keep it going. Cause I'm streaming everything on one platform. I'm shaking. Gotta give me a new computer. Gotta give me a new mic.
If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to live, man. This is Brother Hatem coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Shout out to Citizen Social. Stand by. You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Peace. You are now on Gye-Nyame Radio.
Hey, kicking me off. Got too much stuff going at one time.
I had enough.
Oh my God, I've had enough. You heard the man. I had enough. I had enough. We are live in the congregation of the mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Man, it is a pleasure to be your host. I am Brother Hatem. Of course, you know this is the heart of December. Right now, we are discussing folk tales for grown folks. Some of you, y'all need to stop. When we strive to blow up your old paradigms. All right, my chats are open. My chat lines are open. I am streaming on Spreaker. I am streaming on Facebook. I am streaming on Gye-Nyame's Facebook. I am streaming on YouTube. Shouts out to Sharika Brantley. Shouts out to Miss Vanessa. Shouts out to Brother Kwame. Shouts out. We also got two people on the line. Who's on the line? What's going on? Who this? Come on, introduce yourself. Don't be shy.
Crazy Low.
It's the notorious Crazy Low. And we also have Lady J on the line. It's about to go down here. We're going to have discussion. We know the voting issue is going to pop up within the show because it is Super Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? You know, how's the voting working? How's everything going? I know people out there excited. Some of them confused. Some of them mad. It don't matter here at the Journey. I accept you and love you for what you are and the decisions you make. You say who? Say again. So here we go, family. First off, I want to greet everybody. I want to welcome you in. I want to welcome the family in. Once again, we have a new addition to our my ancestor book today. It was a good day. Then on top of that, we are at 499 likes on Gye-Nyame Journey. We are slowly approaching our goal of hitting 500. Now we're gonna have once we hit that 500, we going for the next goal. Family, you have been very supportive of our efforts from Kwanzaa through the Malcolm X Festival, all the way up. Now we putting out the call. I'm putting out the call. You know, I'm just gonna say it, family. We got this. We got to get out. We got to get us a party together. We got to get us a party together, a party together, so that we can start going and formulating these tickets. Because it's one thing to tell people to vote, is another thing to give people the information so that they can go and make a vote that counts for black folk. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? To make it count for us. Which politicians is standing up and talking about black folks? Which politicians are standing up and putting forth issues? Which issues are going to be able, we are going to be able to directly look at and see the benefits directly coming to us? That's the step of the movement. You know, of course, you know, we got the economics. We got many fronts that we got to battle on. But that's one that is very attainable, that's very reachable, especially here in Columbus. If we don't do nothing but start with the 500 that we got on our list right now, because the majority of those people are from Columbus. I'll take that back. I say maybe a third, you know what I'm saying, are from Columbus. But the piece is, can we start having the effective conversations to where we can start getting politics to start working for us rather than us working for politics? All right. So now I'm going to let the people on the line go and introduce themselves, as well as do a short commentary. Short. So who want to go first? Because we got another person on the line. I think it's Miss Tiandra on the line as well. So who?
Hi, better husband. It is. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Say hello.
You got something you want to share with the people out there?
No, sir.
Okay. Lady
All
J,
right.
you got something?
I do want to say that I am very moved by people participating in politics. I think it's a start. I often recall years ago when Obama was elected first, second time. I'll never forget that a number of people called into a local radio show and discussed their vote. And one thing that I heard was that the people weren't voting the entire ballot. They went and they voted for Obama, but they knew nothing of local issues, so they skipped those parts on the ballot. And that year I called in and I lamented and shared that it behooves us to vote for a president, but not elect our local officials who are incumbent to us. And so I think that we have a start. I would just encourage people to think politically, to be informed, and to continue to participate, even when it doesn't seem like the rules are fair. Because if we just stand on the sidelines and talk about how the rules are unfair, but don't participate in the game, or at least try to defend ourselves or lay up some shots, we're going to get beat every time without a question. So I was moved by the number of people I've seen posting and sharing and exercising their right to political participation.
Oh, that was nice. Go ahead. Brother Quace, you got something you want to say?
I'm slowly learning that it's more important for me to listen than to speak.
Yeah, you know you want to go off. I'm gonna let you slide on this one. Brother Quace, you want to go off, and that's cool. All right, family, listen. All I'm saying, I just want to say, listen up. Listen up. Those that are interested in the whole political aspect that Lady J is talking about, and I say that should be a majority of us, we need to start I mean, like I said, where's the ticket? Where's the questions? Where's the agenda for us? Because we got to start looking out for us. We got to see as individuals. I guess it's cool for us to be selfish, but as a community and as a tribe, we got to be selfish. We got to start. We got to start voting for our children's future if we're going to vote. You know what I'm saying? I think that would give it even more of us out. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to come up. We got enough smart people and enough writers to come up with questions and articles about these people and these issues running so that we can at least get the conversation started and start developing and even writing policy that we want to see in place for us so that we could get what it is that we need to be successful here in Columbus or in any city that you're in. Is more than enough of us, especially in a lot of these quote unquote code word urban areas where we could come up and we could start running. There's no reason why in Columbus we can't control the city council. There's no reason why in Columbus we can't control the school board. There's no reason why we can't control and some of these other political avenues so that we can start getting policy through that will benefit us. If we're going to go to war, if we realize we are at war, then we need to start taking the steps to really, really make our votes count. A bunch of scattered votes, yeah. But once we start,
I think that I feel personally, and this is just again my personal opinion.
This mine too. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just my personal opinion. But I do think that recently I've had the pleasure of meeting individuals who were on the ticket. And I think again I was moved by the fact that they were in places where I was at, basically in the city asking for the vote. But again, I just want to remind when these individuals are speaking and they're in places, we must show up. We must make our word heard. When they post them, they'll post the numbers. They'll tell you to call into these certain offices and plead for this and plead for that. I think that's how we get our voice heard. And again, just reminding these public officials that we elect them, and if they do nothing to benefit us and our schools and our children and our neighborhoods, then we just vote them out. The second piece is, as we say all the time, it's time for us to start cultivating our own politicians, starting with our youth, getting them interested in going into politics, especially when we see that they have enacted some of those characteristics, personalities that would, make them suitable for such a position. And so just encouraging our young people to go into these fields where we are underrepresented. And so,
now, and this is the piece, and I know some of y'all might get uncomfortable with this, but regardless of whether we're training our politicians or we're discussing with politicians, we have to start getting people away from the open lingo of ignoring us. Because they come to our communities, they conversate with us, and they use keywords where they don't have to back up what they say they're going to do for us. Keywords like people of color, urban areas. I am a black man. I want to be addressed as such. I don't go into conversations and motherfuckers be talking to me like, person, Hugo. No, it's our Tim. You know what I'm saying? So when they talking to us as a group, they need to talk to us as a group and not talk around us. And I think that's my issue, because we have a lot of needs in our communities, from education to social to economic, and a lot of those. Because for me, politics, as quoting the Godfather, politics is the gun. No, economics is the gun. Politics is knowing when and where to pull the trigger. And we have to train ourselves as well as train our young people on how to not only get the gun, but how to shoot it and what to aim at when they do get it. Because everybody's shooting at us. So I'm saying if we're going to be involved, we got to get involved with a mind state of black first. You know what I'm saying? I understand some of us, we're soft-hearted people and we want to do for everybody. But first, we got to do for us. Because in that statement, a rising tide lift all boats. I'm telling black folks and everybody around us that black folks we don't have the boat. We are the tide. So when we rise, we lift everybody else up with us. But we got to make sure that we taking care of ourselves. It's very selfish for us not to do that. But what I want to do now is get into. I got something. Let me see. Can I get to my Instagram on here? Somebody post something on Instagram that I want to share real quick. But I ain't got my Instagram app on here, so that's my fault. I messed up on that, so I ain't gonna have a chance to do it. But brother Karima posted up a quote by a Chinese official or whoever. I don't know who it was. But the question was asked to him about black folks. And basically what he said was, I'm just paraphrasing, that he first went in about Chinese people as or as Asians. We want to see other Asians do well. We want to see other Asians with jobs. We want to see other Asians doing well. And when they come to America, they in a sense build their own schools or make sure they're able to have control in the schools. They want to make sure that they are able to battle white supremacy, and they plan to overtake it slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? They planning for the long haul. But in the end of it, he asked this question. He said, black people get mad at us for not hiring them because I choose to hire another Asian man like myself. That's because we love ourselves. And if they call us racist for that, you know what I'm saying, then so be it. I mean, it wasn't quite like that, but the point is, all these wagons are circling, and we're not. We're not. We're trying to be inclusive and all that. I'm saying I think we need to focus a little bit. We need to focus more on us. Because by us improving, we improve everyone around us. We allow everybody else's light to shine rather than smothering other people's lights by trying to include ourselves in their shit. As a matter of fact, we so fly that once we get our shit together, everybody else is going to follow suit. I mean, we show this in everything we do. But enough of that. Let's get into this folk tale for the night. Unless somebody else got a comment. Let me check I forgot we got this up. Okay, cool. All right, let me go to Hootsuite. Make sure nobody is being left out. Nope, it's quiet. Everybody watching for the election results. I guess there's other stuff that could be going on. But while we're waiting, let me go and read this folk tale. Let's get into it. Some wisdom mining going on here live at Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Here we go. The Cat and Venus. A cat fell in love.
The cat and the what?
The cat and Venus.
Venus, the planet?
No, Venus, the goddess. Also known as Heteru. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go there.
Okay.
All right. A cat fell in love with a handsome young man and entreated Venus to change her into the form of a woman. Venus consented to her request and transformed her into a beautiful damsel, so that the youth saw her and loved her and took her home as his bride. While the two were reclining in their chamber, Venus, wishing to discover if the cat in her change of shape had also altered her habits of life, let down a mouse in the middle of the room. The cat, quite forgetting her present condition, started up from the couch and pursued the mouse, wishing to eat it. Venus was much disappointed and again caused her to return to her former shape. I'll read it one more time. All right, hold on. Oh, put up the number. Okay, I'm sorry. 614-556-4535. I'm kind of hurt that I'm paying this money and that shit is not popping up on all of my sites. Let's see. Illumina Shay, Antonio Johnson. Oh, that's from this morning. What's going on? All right. I'm going to read it again. Here we go. A cat fell in love with a handsome young man and entreated Venus to change her into the form of a woman. Venus consented to her request and transformed her into a beautiful damsel so that the youth saw her and loved her and took her home as his bride. While the two were reclining in their chamber, Venus, wishing to discover if the cat in her change of shape had also altered her habits of life, let down a mouse in the middle of the room. The cat, quite forgetting her present condition, started up from the couch and pursued the mouse, wishing to eat it. Venus was much disappointed and again caused her to return to her former shape. The moral of the story is nature exceeds nurture. Anybody want to go in on that one first? Y'all quiet.
Wow, that's deep that it said nature exceeds nurture.
It says nature exceeds nurture. Hey, he didn't do a lot of, Aesop ain't do a lot of experiments back in the day.
I when you read it, I thought about what's that saying go? You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Oh, you so mean. Oh, you so mean.
Hey, that's funny. I wasn't even gonna say it, but Lady J, you made me have to do it. You want to make me say a famous Cat Williams quote. You can lead a hoe to water, but you can't make a tank.
And, you know, and like I said, these go deep. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, family, you do not have to agree. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to agree, you know what I'm saying, with his moral. We don't even have to agree with the damn story. What we have to be able to do is break it down and maybe get the and open up the wisdom that's in there, if there is some wisdom, for the person out there that might need it. That's our job. That's what we do here at Gye-Nyame Journey. I got to make you think. It's sometimes make you think. I got to make you mad. So, you know, can't turn a hoe into a housewife is what they say. But it might be somebody that did it. Maybe you might be able to call in and tell us that nurture does outdo nature.
I think that nurture can outdo nature.
Go ahead.
And the reason why is because our brains have plasticity. So our brains are capable with rapid and frequent, you know what I'm saying, activity, like positive activity or changed activity. Yeah, you can create new, you know what I'm saying, you can be a changed person.
So, Lady J, you can't, Lady, so you're saying that nurture can outdo nature.
I think that it can. I think that it takes time. And like I said, because it's going to take repeated, a different stimulus repeated over time in order to change it.
I think what I got from it is that you can't fake the funk. You can't just change your clothes and your outward appearance and then all of a sudden be able to, what's it say? You don't catch your pearls among swine.
Right.
So, like, if the pig or whatever, the cat, all of a sudden change its outward appearance, like it didn't do any of the work.
It didn't do any of the work.
It's internal work. So that way, that's why like outward adoration. How do you say that word? When you adore yourself outwardly. Adoration. Mean as much as if when it comes from within. Like usually that comes from within, or whatever type of attribute you want to use that comes from within is pure, it's genuine, it's always going to be there regardless of what is worn on the outside. Like if somebody's truly royalty, or whatever our words are, God, Goddess, like you're always going to be that regardless, in embracing whatever you wear, because it outshines that. But if you're just somebody who is foul and doing whatever, and I don't even, it's not even about somebody who, but if you just are faking it and throwing on a suit and saying, I'm just about to act like, and if we're talking about politics, look at some of the people that are in these positions with suits on, who act like straight assholes. Like they weren't raised right. They have no morals or ethics. So it's like all of a sudden they got to go to whoever has the silver spoon and wear the attire and get that title, but they haven't done the work. And so you can smell them a mile away, even though they might look and blend in by the look, you can still sniff them out.
Yeah, I would like to add something to that.
We got somebody from down south. Who this?
This Sister Fatman.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes, you saw me posting repeatedly. Put the number, because I was like, I wanted to add on to what you were speaking about when you first started the program.
Well, go ahead, baby.
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and especially with the situation that's going on with my children. I noticed that not one of the politicians, the Libertarian, the Republican, or the Democrat, mentioned a single word about what they will do to prevent domestic terrorism. This is for Georgia. Neither one of them. And I'm pretty sure that in your state, none of the politicians mentioned what they would do about domestic terroristic acts by the police in our community. They're not going to speak about that. We do need our own vote. We do need something that works for us. Now, I agree with the sister that we raised the children to be these individuals. However, we are under the Constitution, first of all, is made to remind the government of what they're supposed to be doing. How would my question is, what do you all think we need to do in order to fit our agenda in that Constitution? What are the steps we need to take? Because this is something serious. It's funny that you mentioned it, because a sister and I was just discussing that. And, how do we fit our agenda into a decade-long Constitution?
Now,
or if we need to put it in there at all.
Now, one of the first things, because this is why I said being able to combine for the cities that we are in. I mean, it's like for cities where there's sparse black people, to be honest, politically, it's going to be very little they could do unless they got a lot of cash flow. You understand what I'm saying? But in those cities, in those places where we have a lot of people, we can organize the voters and also and make those politicians come to us. You know what I'm saying? Or either the vote, they won't get the vote from us, or we'll pass the vote on to somebody else that will come to us. And the first thing we have to be able to start structuring is an agenda, and making sure that the agenda we have, first off, deals specifically for us. And stop letting people come talk to us, and in a sense, they come to us dressed up like a damsel, but they really goddamn cats. They're faking. They come and then they try to trick us into believing that they're really this beautiful damsel. But you know, all you gotta do is dangle the little mouse in front of them, and they get up and they run off the stage. We got to get people to start calling. Destiny Child said it best. Say my name, say my name. You don't hear none of these politicians. None of them mention black. None of them say black people.
No.
None of them say, deal with any issues that directly deal with us. They deal with them for everybody. Nobody deals with what's going on with us. And we have to start making these politicians or building these politicians, if we're going to be involved in the system, we have to start building or making these politicians recognize the force that we have. Economically, politically, socially, educationally, we need to be in every arena educating our folks to get them to understand that as individuals, our votes are meaningless, but when we vote in mass, like for example, one of the things I kept saying for the last couple of weeks is, where is the ticket in Columbus? We got all these things going on in Columbus. We got all these things going on in Ohio. You had them all in Georgia, in Detroit, where all my listeners are. We got all this major shit going on right now, but there is no black ticket. And I want people to understand, when I say a black ticket, I'm talking about where we have had or people we sponsor have had conversations with these politicians to where they have cornered these individuals to guarantee certain things that they're going to do for us when they get in. Even these policies, we need to be able to make people, look, you take this back or this ain't going to pass. Go ahead.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I think that going back to the whole nurture versus nature thing, nature versus nurture, the reason why nature is always going to have a predominant impact on people is because nature, people, human beings, actually all life in general, one thing that all life in general has in common is that it will always naturally take the path of least resistance. That's what life does. Life wants easy and comfortable. So
true.
For people to go against, to make change, to go against their nature takes extraordinary effort. And extraordinary effort is extraordinary effort, you know.
Right.
People will always like that. That just kind of co-signs the saying that change is hard, change is difficult. No matter what type of change, even if it's for the better, it's always going to come with difficulty, you know. So when people around election time, people love to remember that people lost their lives and suffered for people's right to vote, for black people's right to vote. Other black people suffered and died, but black people suffered and died for everything that black people enjoy, and more black people are going to have to suffer and die to continue to get to equality. You know, that's just the reality of it. It's always going to have to be people that nothing comes without sacrifice. And it don't necessarily mean physical death. I'm sure it probably will in some instances.
You will.
But death of the comfort, we have to be willing to die to ourselves, like the Phoenix fire type of death.
Right.
When all of the impurities and all of the things that we don't need or useless habits that we have, like spending hours in front of the TV, because people died for us to have the right to read as well. And that's something that can be done daily. That can create a whole new world of understanding we could be reading ballot initiatives, or we could be reading ballot initiatives to learn how to create ballot initiatives. We could be reading to come to the understanding that as a citizen, I have the power to write a ballot initiative. All I need is a certain amount of signatures from a certain district or whatever district or city or on whatever level I want to initiate the bill or whatever. I don't know the process specifically, but I do have a rudimentary understanding that as a citizen, I have the power to get something on the ballot if I follow through with all the steps. So reading is and having conversations with other people who have read and are well read is why I have that information. So I don't even necessarily have to read, but the more I read, the more curious I become, and the different type of conversations that I'm gonna have, and the different type of people that I'm gonna seek out. Like one of the main reasons why I even came into a place with Hatem when we met is we have so much stuff in common to talk about. Hatem was one of the first people I had met in my life that I could have conversations with about books that I was reading, you know. So that just facilitated that relationship and made me more eager to meet that type of person, to bring it into my awareness that there are like-minded people in the world, you know. And that came from reading, from a I don't even gonna say daily exercise, but something that I had to do on some type of routine. So I had to do on some type of consistency, as opposed to just doing something once every year or every 2 or 4 years. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's kind of addressing the whole voting thing as well in a nutshell.
And of course, once again, thank you for plugging it back into the folktale, because family, what I want y'all to understand that I don't know if y'all noticed, but damn near every week, if we was to really comb the news and start talking about what's going on in some form of fashion, our folk tales and even the proverbs we be working with on Ujima, because I don't feel like doing the push-ups, fit in to the total conversation. We have politicians coming to us disguised as one thing, but we know that their nature is another. So we have to start being able to adjust it. Now, I want to go back to the folktale for 1 second, because the sister asked a question, and Kwesi brought up the point about reading and being able to get in depth, and also Sister Tiandra talked about not being able to fake the funk. In this folktale, one of the things that will often be overlooked is how shallow this boy had to be. Because if the nature of a woman was not copied, and basically the nature of the cat was there, and this cat was pretending to be just a pretty woman, and this man just took this cat home and married it, and didn't even take time to get to know this. And isn't this how we kind of do our politics? Isn't this how we do our economics? We don't even know the individuals or the things that we are purchasing or that we're involved with, and it's a very shallow relationship. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing our studying, as Quasi said, we're not doing our daily reading, where we're taking these politicians or these damsels with us, and we expect them to do right by us when it has never been part of their nature. Because another aspect of nature that you have to bring up when we talk about it is that every individual species will strive to survive. And that means pushing my DNA above yours. Every other
That's interesting. That makes me. Brother
I'm here. Go ahead.
Still going?
Go ahead.
It makes me think about, currently I'm studying the Maroon Society. And so even the war of 1817 and 1818 with the Seminoles, and back then we were referred to as Negroes. And it's interesting to see the characteristics of each race, I guess you would have to say. And so like the white race, even though this was before race, so it's like British and English, they were more so savages, and they're really great at studying. So they can study, other cultures and what they excel at and mimic it. They're great at mimicking. As people from African descent, we are thinkers and we're doers. Like, we're very innovative and pioneering. And then the Native Americans is what they refer to them then. They are more so feelers and connected spiritually. And those are just things, even though I think that we mimic both the Native American and like I said, these are what they referred to during that time in the 1800s, Negro and Native American. I feel like that's more indicative of who we are as a people. But those same like naturistic characteristics have followed us throughout the beginning of time. So I just think that shows evidence of how strong nature truly is. And then I had a question for Quincy, because he was mentioning, like, he ended talking about how reading has really brought him forth and where he is currently in his journey. And is reading, though, because I feel like reading for me really helped too. And I didn't start reading truly until I was 25. And so with reading, though, is that a tool of nurture, where in nurturing our young people in our community and getting them to read and introducing them to that, could we nurture, our community and our people to progression? I think that's nurturing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that nurture, like a good example, because I mean, I got to read and doing my own personal studies around the ages like 25 myself, and through over the years, through different times I read less and more in different times. And I actually want to thank you for like kind of rekindling my love affair with reading. This kind of in the past, like the first thing that I read in probably at least a year, actually I listened to the audiobook of The Hate U Give. And after that, I listened to another audiobook. And then after that, I went to the library, and I'm now on my fourth book that I've consumed through either audiobook, or now I've actually physically read a book, and now I'm on my second book that I physically read. And I have a couple more already checked out, and I'm going to get through all of them because they all interest me. And that's just kind of the thing. Like, it's definitely, because like I was saying before, nature is effortful. It's Nature is automatic. Nurture is effortful. And effort, it always has to be some type of incentive. We need, people only move, there's only three basic incentives: moral incentives, social incentives, and like outcome based incentive. I can't think of the actual word. I always lose the word. And that's something that I just was reading. And people, when you talk about voting, it's always about some social incentive or some type of moral incentive, especially when it's geared towards Black people. It's always saying your ancestors did such and such, so you should vote. And then it's saying
that's
people are going to feel this way about you, so you should vote. But it never says you should vote, because if you do, you're going to get this specific outcome. And, you see what I'm saying?
And that's what we got.
The more that that's the type of incentive that we need to, first of all, read, because we don't understand. I actually worked in grassroots politics, grassroots organizing, to where I had to I chose to get a little bit of a better understanding. But now I'm even understanding more that it was never my job to get people to understand what they was voting for. My organization was getting paid to collect voter registrations, period. So that was my job. It was never to teach people or to even teach myself about how to utilize this mechanism of voting to create the grassroots change that that was like the fundamental flaw in all of it.
Hold on, stop.
Am I doing too much?
No. What I'm saying is, see, because the one thing that I try to get all of y'all to understand is that, dude, first off, I have never put you in a situation for a job. As Gye-Nyame men, we seek adventures, and we take those adventures and we shape them and form them into what we want and what we need and what our people need. See, it wasn't your job. Of course, it wasn't your job to do that, but you had to find you had the finances to be able to do that without an oversight that would stop you from doing that. You wasn't being paid for that, but you could have created that. You understand what I'm saying? Because that would have made the position that you had a little bit more powerful, because that's what the dudes that started that organization did. Now, but then in order to get the funds for you to do what you was doing, you had to get the actual the actual registrations, but it was never a limit on what you could do. This is what this is what I always try to tell y'all, man, because like I done made my career in finding ways to hook people up and finding ways to make the positions that I get work for me and the community. If it can't work for the community, I don't stay there that long. If it's just a job for me, I don't stay there that long.
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's about us making a way out of no way. You know what I'm saying? And using our natural skills and our natural talents to build. Because you had the right position, but then it's like, boom, it's a job. No, I never wanted to hook you up with. I never want to give you a job. Never. Nigga, I want to give you a passion. I want, you know what I'm saying? My job was, nigga, you a nation builder. This is what I've been telling you, a warrior, moving to a nation builder. And I'm telling all this, and I'm not just talking to Quasi, I'm talking to y'all. Y'all nation builders, and a lot of y'all are in positions where you're looking at this shit wrong. You understand what I'm saying? I'm at a school, and my job is to suspend. But my job is, you know what I'm saying? That's what they pay. You're suspend. No, okay, cool. Boom. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Give unto the Lord what is the Lord's. You understand what I'm saying? Boom, dog, I'm Lord. Listen, when I get in a position, I'm finding a way to not only hook up my community, you know what I'm saying? Even better, in some cases, I did it even better than they was doing better than me. Some of the people around me. The only point I'm trying to make is when we start thinking about this, right? It's like, boom, when we're put in positions, we got to really look at all the options. You look at your job title and you start finding a way to make yourself so indispensable that you could change your motherfucking title and they will agree with it and they will keep on financing you. I done did this for the last 30 years. For the last 30 years. That's all I've been doing. I go into places when I leave with more shit than I came in with. They let me have it. You deserve it. We might disagree, but take this shit with you. We like the work that you're doing, but you know what I'm saying? Our boats are, your interest is conflicted with our interest now. Now you got to go. And that's cool. But the point that I'm saying is I never wanted you to, I've always been tired trying to talk to you against this whole job idea. No, dog, we on an adventure. We at war. You a spook who sat by the door. How can you use the resources that you're being given to move for our people? So in a political... Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can't let me go off like that.
Nah. Actually, yeah, that's part of the journey too that I'm realizing now is because while I definitely gained a lot of insight, I also made a lot of mistakes, and I spent a lot of time being kind of down on myself, and I'm just now really starting to go back and weed through some of those experiences and pull the jewels out and see not only what the gifts that I got, but I'm seeing the mistakes that I made. And with the mistakes is an opportunity. And I think we talked a lot about that over the years too, is how with every seed of failure is a seed of opportunity.
There you go.
But the thing about it is moving on, like not getting emotionally stuck there. And that's what happens a lot of times is we get mad at ourselves.
Sure do.
But, just especially as men, we got to I'm learning how to take the things that weren't successful, but ultimately remember my mission and remember what I set out to do, and to take from that and realize there's just always the next time, as long as I allow for there to be a next time, it can be, and that goes right back to the nurture versus nature thing. Cause again, a part of changing your nature through nurture is picking yourself up after failing, after falling.
Because nature will always give a test. Nature is always giving us a test. And that's how we determine whether we need more nurture or what are we going to do with our nature? The test.
That's deep.
I think some examples of the test that nature gives, but
just like in the folktale, when nature tested the cat, tested the transformation of the cat, tested the nature of the cat with the mouse. That was the test.
Yo, that's crazy. You know how to we think
outside of the folktale.
So, for example, someone who might be struggling with, say, drug addiction, and that's their cross that they're happy to bear, and they're in the process, and their journey is to transform that particular habit that they've developed, that addiction, that habit. So they're in rehab, and they're in in their journey, they're joining groups, AA, NA, and with the groups, there's a specific step that is outlined. And if the person returns to their home environment, for example, there's a test, someone in their home is saying, yeah, you acting like you're all good now, and like you've never done anything, and you're nothing but so there's a test there in their home. They return to their jobs, and there might be a test on their jobs that someone is reminding them of where they used to be, even though they're transforming their lives, they're in their journey. And then that kind of conflict may make them down on themselves to where they want to, the thoughts come to them to just give up. It's just too tough. It's too hard. It's just too much. So nature is testing their desire, their focus, their determination, their strength, whether they really want that transformation or not. But nature always is a test. You set a goal, nature is going to test you at every step of your executing your plan towards your goal. Nature is going to test you at every step to make sure you really want it, to make sure you really deserve it.
Our ancestors.
My with nature.
Our ancestors called that.
I'm gonna say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick. Nature is in order. Okay, nature is balanced. There are no flaws. Sometimes it appears to be flaws, but whatever it is something that human has inflicted onto nature. Nature is our nurturer, should I say. People make their own decisions, and I don't feel that it has anything to do with nature. Nature is when something naturally happens, something when it naturally happens. Thank you for giving me that example. However, if someone is testing it, that doesn't have anything to do with nature. Those are things that you consciously and a person consciously and willingly does to someone. Well, nature is whatever you put out is what you get back. If you understand what I'm saying. Now, I know that is nature, and nature doesn't test you because that's not how it operates. You just get back what you put out, and that's the energy that you put out.
But let me say this. If we look at our ancient spiritual systems, we never had Satan at the level that Europeans had. In our belief systems, we always had testers, and they held a very divine position. Alegba, Sat. They were testers that made sure that we was worthy of moving to the next step. So in a sense, nature does test. Like, for example, survival. Are you willing to do what it takes to survive? That's a test. And that's something that can happen in a natural environment or a man-made environment. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times how can I put it? Because nature weeds out the weak. Nature thins the herd. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that mankind, especially Europeans, have done, they made it possible for fools to get old. A lot of us, we know some of these fools. You know what I'm saying? Fools get old because the society has sheltered us from actual nature testing us in many ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I feel like the best example of all of this, what I'm hearing, I keep applying everything I'm hearing to this example in my mind, and it all just fits perfectly into the framework. Just how they say Mother Nature. Nature is the feminine essence. The feminine is that which just is. Like, you know, it's the first. The universe literally is a black female. You see what I'm saying? Everything was birthed out of blackness. Literally a black female. You know what I mean? So even when a man is pursuing a woman,
oh God,
a woman is going to test you to see if you are worth reproducing. You see what I'm saying? Like if you can produce something that can be strong enough to continue to exist into the future, but on the surface level, it looked like a lot of men think that, oh, she playing games, she this, you know what I'm saying? She's challenging you to see if you have what it takes.
You're worthy.
If you can stay emotionally stable enough and thoughtful enough to understand, you see what I'm saying? To think your way through the process to allow nature is the feminine essence and nurture is the masculine essence. And the two of them can't exist without each other. You know what I mean? You can't continue to progress one without the other.
Man,
okay.
Y'all getting deep.
Yes. Thank you. I have enjoyed everyone's comments.
Man.
Thoroughly. So you broke it down real good.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me do this real quick. I want to thank everybody for joining us on Gye-Nyame Journey Media. This is Heart of Summer Production, and of course we are now on Folktales for Grown Folks. Simmer down. Well, we strive to blow up your old paradigm. Now back to the conversation. I told you these folk tales are not just for kids. They deep as hell, family. And we could go and extract some more. We scratching the surface. Open up the goddamn book. You know what I'm saying? And you can read a proverb a day. You can read a folk tale a day. It's 454 of them. I got them labeled for every one of our principles. Family, we're not playing with this. So now, let's continue on with the discussion. And I can't remember who was speaking last. I just wanted to make sure we let people know. Hey, family, push us up over 500. Now, because the next test for us is 1,500 likes. After 500, we're going to do 15. And after we do 1,500, I'm throwing a party. God damn it. All of the ambrosia will be, well, as close to free as I could possibly make it. You know, I'm on a budget here. I'm doing the best that I can. But family, I want to thank y'all. So now let me read the folktale for those that might just be joining us. Let's read it again. And then we can bring it up into our personal lives. We could bring it up into situations. We could bring it back up into politics. We could bring it up to whatever. But let's refresh the conversation by rereading the folktale. A cat fell in love with a handsome young man and entreated Venus to change her into the form of a woman. Venus consented to her request and transformed her into a beautiful damsel, so that the youth saw her and loved her and took her home as his bride. While the two were reclining in their chamber, I wonder what they was doing when they was reclining. Venus, wishing to discover if the cat in her change of shape had also altered her habits of life, let down a mouse in the middle of the room. The cat, quite forgetting her present condition, started up from the couch and pursued the mouse, wishing to eat it. Venus was much disappointed and again caused her to return to her former shape. And the moral of the story is nature exceeds nurture. Anybody else got a comment on it? Come on now.
Yeah, I think another little hidden gem in that is once you call something and see something for what it is, it ceases to have power over you.
Yeah. I mean, hell.
Okay, with the ending portion of it, is that, after listening to Brother Kwame, that's the name, Kwesi?
Kwesi.
Yeah, Kwesi. Excuse me for that. Breakdown, is that saying that the man overpowers the woman?
Nah.
Because, he was, no, not yours, like comparing the ending of the story to what you just was saying about the, nurture. I mean, nature overpowers nurture. You ended it by saying that.
No, actually, in the story, the woman, or as Kwesi put it, the woman overpowers the man because it was her nature that acted. It was the nature that acted. She didn't change. See, because nature can be, in some ways, changed and shaped and morphed through training, like Kwesi said, because women naturally give birth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just an example. We deal with rites of passage as far as Gye-Nyame. We talk about rites of passage. And what a lot of people don't understand is that one of the reasons that the rites of passage process for women is not as deeply explored is that in a lot of societies it may not exist. And this is just my opinion. Because women don't have to have a rites of passage. Now, this is what I'm saying, and before y'all beat me up, let me say this. Because women give birth, and that is a traumatic initiatory process when the right elders are around you that you don't never have to do some of the shit that men have to do. So women have their womb. The women have the physical womb. Men have the earthly womb. And the earthly womb is our societies that we build. So humans, the nurture part or the nurture part of us is the man aspect. And in order for men to give birth, we have to give birth through society. Women give birth naturally. So we have to create the processes through which we bring men into manhood. We got to bring them through the womb of manhood because they came through the womb of a woman. But in order for us to transform them into man, the rites of passage process is established to bring them through, in a sense, the womb of men so that we can change them and morph them. And that's why the rites of passage take a long time. A lot of people think it's like a 2-week period. No, hell no. If you look at most of these, it's traumatic, it's long, it's dangerous, and certain habits and certain things that you had before are not there. This is why men receive totally different names after they come out of rites of passage, because they're no longer little Tommy. Now they Big Quojo and shit, because they're totally different when they come through, because now they have been born as men. I mean, I don't know if y'all get what I'm saying with that, but men are the nurture.
I understand what you're saying.
Men are the nurture, women are the nature. And in this story, the nature won. Because really when you think about it, let's go back to that dude. That dude must have been very shallow, man. He must have not had no conversations with this woman at all. He just totally looked at her exterior and said, "She's beautiful. I want to marry you." Meow. Oh, that's so cute. She says meow. Look, that's so cute. Meow. Oh, because obviously this cat had not spent enough time as a human being to get control of his urges. And then another part of nature wanted to test her. And that was that Aset spirit, that had her root spirit. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Let's test it and see. Drop that mouse right in the middle of the room. And we got to see who was really there. And sometimes that tells us that sometimes we need this in our conversations with our friends, with our business associates, with our politicians that's approaching us as we start building these parties. You know what I'm saying, or whatever we're gonna call them, these tribes. I like to call them tribes, right? We need to be able to drop the mouse in front of people so that we can see the true nature. I want to see your nature because nurture you can fake that for a long time, but I want to see you. I want to see your nature. I want to see what's inside of you, which is so deep that it's an automatic response, and you're going to react. And do y'all know a powerful time where nurture overcame nature? And a lot of people don't take this into account. If we go back into the civil rights struggle, when they had to train all those men and women to sit at those counters, because that required training. That whole shit was nature overcoming nurture. My fault, nurture overcoming nature. Because it's natural, it's a natural instinct. Somebody pours something on you. Either you get so terrified that you're gonna get up and run, or you're gonna get up and you're gonna defend yourself. Some of the if we really explore what was going on during the civil rights movement, we would find that there was some super strong individuals that was involved in that. I know a lot of people be like, oh man, they was weak, blah, blah, blah. They let them sick dogs on them. They let them hit them and they didn't hit them back. But I don't even know if people really understand the amount of courage and discipline that it required to have somebody actually physically assault you and you not return the favor. I really don't see, because either you will return the favor or you will run for your life. But these people stood up and took it. Not saying that we need to go back and do that. But what I'm saying is we can look at that discipline that was there, because there was some true nurturing going on during that civil rights movement that we lost that shit. Because I mean, really, I want some of y'all to just think about that shit. Just allow Brother Hatim to walk up in your house and slap you up and slap you on your face. Either you gonna run from me or you gonna kill me. Give it a goddamn good try. We have to really look. I mean, we're looking with our enemy's eyes at the shit that was going on there. Oh, I wouldn't have been. Oh, them motherfuckers, they couldn't have did that to me. And we look over the courage that it took for people to do that shit. We look over the discipline that it required for people to do that. Cowards can't do that type of shit.
Because in a different way, they're doing it in a different way now. Like, they subliminally doing it now. Like, with social media, man, like, we got to be disciplined and have courage on a whole nother level dealing with this social media. Because people's opinions is coming right into our house, and we responding to it, doing the opposite. We not just taking it and understand, like, because when somebody assaults you like that, they give away their position, so you know where they stand.
Right.
So if you lash right back, especially when you don't have the initiative, then you're going to lose. But if you take that and then you strategically use that information to make your next step, then you're probably going to have a better chance than you would have if you strike back to people that got fire hoses and guns and a court system backing them. You know what I'm saying? So now we got this social media, got people just emotionally reacting in public and giving in. You know, you already know I can be guilty of some of that too. And I hear myself sounding like you in one of the previous shows where you were telling us to kind of fall back as we was giving away our position in the sense, talking about how we might handle certain things.
I mean, sometimes we got to do that.
Record,
right.
You know?
Sometimes we do that. But, you know, like I said, I got to be elder and I got elders and you know what I'm saying? And in some cases for y'all, I am the elder in the relationship. So I have to kind of pull back and remind y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because there's certain things that we can't talk about. You know what I'm saying? Because in some cases, we are that damsel. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to give away your position. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, this could be a story about an assassin. I disguise myself. I get all the way in the bedroom, and all of a sudden, when we recline it, rather than the mouse being dropped in the room, a weapon pops up, and I'm able to complete my mission. But if I had gave it away and I'm talking all the goddamn time, you know what I'm saying? This is why, you know, but like I said, uh, sometimes we need to talk about that stuff. Other times we need to just fall back and be silent. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just loose cannons, and they don't, you don't understand. You may be fucking up the strategy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because the piece for us, is that we have to walk a fine line, because none of the social media belongs to us. At any given time, they could block every last one of us, and we never be able to use the platforms. They have the technology to do that shit. You go and try to disguise yourself. You go and try. They know what the fuck you doing. So we have to walk a fine line and be able to communicate in ways that people outside of our culture don't understand. But because we expose everything, motherfuckers automatically start picking up our secrets, because we just talk about every goddamn thing. One of the reasons I said we need to start breaking these folktales down, is because I'm noticing that a lot of us are no longer symbol literate. We can't break down symbols. You know what I'm saying? So one day, Quasi, I might need to communicate with you, and I'm gonna send a folktale. And your task is going to be able to break that shit down and come save my life, maybe, because I can't tell you directly I'm in danger. So I might send a folktale, but I need to be sure that you're able to break that down. I might need to send it to Sister Tiandra so she could go and send out the signal, or come in and come get me. Because this is the way our ancestors used to. This is how we passed on information from generation to generation, and we neglecting them. We're neglecting the wisdom. We're neglecting the power. But family, we've been on here over an hour. Let's see how long we've been on here. An hour and 16 minutes. And I got to get up. I got my adventure to go to tomorrow. And I know other people on the journey got their adventure to go to tomorrow. And we also got to get up and we got to do our toast. And for anybody out there that want to put their ancestors on the toast, or you want to join the toast on a regular basis, you can hit me up at the Black Signal at 614-300-1875. You can text me the name of your ancestors. Go ahead, bro.
You notice that I ain't gave you my. If I add mine, that's going. I've been sitting here putting together my list of fallen soldiers, man. It's a lot, and I ain't even really going back past. I ain't even talking about like my elders. I'm talking about like just homies and people that in passed in the past like 15 years, man. I got a good almost like 30 of them.
Family, I got a list with more than 30 people on it. You know what I'm saying? If you want your ancestors toasted every morning, because that's what I pledge to do, by all means, I'll toast them. I have no problem with that. You understand? So that your list is not too long. Did you see? Have you noticed how long my damn list is now? And I'm telling people that I will set up a whole nother show to have discussion and just do the damn toast. Right now, I got time to do the toast. My goal is that I want to toast the part with the ancestors to take up the whole show. 15 minutes of reading. And then what I could do is I could pass that responsibility on to somebody in Gye-Nyame. Now it's your turn to do this. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when I get 65, 70 years old, I could pass this on. Because people now is invested in turning on and listening to their ancestors. Because all I'm trying to do is plug us back into our culture, man. Because that's where our power comes from. Our power comes from our culture. A lot of people don't understand that. And I'm cool with that. You don't even have to understand. You know what I'm saying? But those that are in the know, and those that are in the know, support. And those that are in the know, add to. Like, for example, Sister Tiandra got right into it. She gave me her ancestors and started writing. She probably been writing books, but now she writing books. And she asked for how to, you know what I'm saying? And my piece is, this is how we get the word out. This is how we start building the culture. And somebody asks, how do we do it? We do it with the young people and the friends and family that are around us now. And we build from the inside out. We don't have to reach masses right away because we're part of the masses. All we have to do is start reaching out to the people that surround us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm getting a message from some type of WAP service. I don't know what the hell that is. But family, I want to thank everybody for joining us. And I don't know if Lady J is still on the line, but usually what I do is I give people opportunity to close out. If you have some closing words, by all means, go and close out because we're going to shut the show down. But once again, thank all those that's listening now and those that's listening in the future. Get your Daily Toaster shirt. Buy a book. Sister Tiandra's book will be out soon too. It's a nice read. You know what I'm saying? I got to look at it beforehand. So you know. Anybody got any closing comments?
Thank you, Brother.
No problem. Segment, you got any? Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut her off. I was just going to say thank you for having me again. I enjoyed watching your shows. I missed it this morning, but I did catch the recap. So, thank you. And I learned a few things tonight.
Me too. Me too. Quasi, you got something you want to close out with?
Give thanks. Everybody giving thanks. I want to give thanks.
All right. Sister Tiandra, your all minds clear? Let me check the comments before I click off.
All minds clear.
All minds clear. All right, family. We got some more comments. Hold on, let me see a few more comments. They only show 5 and 9, so we missing some people. So I want to make sure we get everybody's words in. Come on, there we go. All right, cool. All right, nothing there. Just this Hootsuite. I don't know what the fuck going on. Excuse my language. Well, I cuss anyway. I'm sorry, family. It's stuck. Well, all right. We out. Family, once again, I want to thank you for joining Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Make sure you like and share. If you're on Facebook, it just popped up. I had a whole bunch of, a few more comments. All right. I'm just going to go. All right, family, I thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have a great and powerful night. I see some of y'all early in the morning for the Daily Toast. We're going to get it off. If you have ancestors, you already put the number up there. Feel free to join us because you family. We family. This is all about family. And I want y'all to know that. All right? Remember, we're approaching Kwanzaa season. So, like I said, if you ain't got a place to go and kick it during the 26th to the 31st, through the 1st of January, come on out and kick it with us. All right? This is Brother Hatim, and I am out. Thank you, and have a great night. And I toast you.